Hello YouTube, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another deck profile. Yes, before today I already did a deck profile of the new kaiju monsters archetype that was released for the Clash of Rebellions booster pack for the TCG. And since this is pretty much one of the most talked about decks in the format today, I'm gonna do a profile of the KOZMO monsters. This is a new deck archetype, and it's pretty much a homage to both Star Wars and Wizard of Oz. This is a mix of both of them because, yeah, it's just a very interesting deck. I've played against it a few times. I've liked what it's done. So it's not many cards now, just 4 monsters in total. We got 2 machines and 2 psychics, and of course 1 field spell. So we'll go through the cards, see what they do and how they relate to each other, and then some optional support for them. I haven't given much thought to this deck, so I really can't give you too much support for it. But anyway, let's go with KOZMO Forerunner. It's a light machine monster, level 7, I believe. 2800 attack, 1400 defense. Meh. Now let's look at its effects. It cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. During your standby phase, gain 1,000 life points. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard and special summon a level 6 or a lower KOZMO monster. Now this is probably the biggest beater in the entire deck by levels and by attacks. And you're probably wondering how the hell you're going to get this big fucker out on the field. Trust me, when you see the others in this archetype, you'll understand how easy it is. Can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects, meaning that spells or traps or monster effects that target, this guy would just shrug off like nothing ever happened. During your standby phases, you gain 1,000 life points, which is useful because you will be spending quite a bit of life points in this. And if it's destroyed by card effect or battle, you can just banish it and special summon any of the other KOZMO monsters from your deck. Doesn't specify what, just level 6 or lower. And since all the others are lower level than this card, you really have more options to do it. So, alright, let's go with KOZMO Slip Rider. It's another light machine monster, level 5, 2300 attack, 800 defense. That's pretty pitiful. So let's look at its effect. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. This card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your deck and special summon a level 4 or lower KOZMO monster from your deck. See? Synergy! So, yeah, if this bad boy gets run over or destroyed, then you can just banish him to bring out this big son of a bitch, KOZMO Slip Rider. And when it comes to the field, whether it's normal or special summon, it's popping a spell or trap card. And only if you, but the word says you can, meaning that you have the option. So you don't necessarily have to do that to blow up your own cards. Unlike Harpy's Hunting Ground, which has to blow something up when a Harpy is summoned. And like before, if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish it to special summon a level 4 or lower KOZMO monster, which you will have 2 more targets for. And let's look at these. KOZMO Good Witch. Jedi. What are you looking at that? It is a psychic light type monster, 800 attack, only 1,000 defense. During either player's turn, you can banish this card, special summon 1 level 5 or higher KOZMO monster from your hand. You can only use the effect once per turn. You can pay 500 life points and target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to defense mode. Now this one is the reason why you can summon either one of these. It's either player's turn, so if your opponent summons something a little bit bigger than this card, you can just banish it and summon one of the big bastards to take its place. Of course, you pay life points because psychics run on life points. They eat your life points. So hence why this guy lets you gain 1,000 life points during your standby phases. Good Witch lets you target a monster and just change it to face down defense position. It doesn't seem like much, but when you want to get rid of that pesky high-ass attack monster, Good Witch is a good choice for you. Let's look at the second one, KOZMO Farm Girl. Yep, that is Dorothy. And Toto right behind her, looking all badass. Psychic and Light, just like Good Witch. 1500 attack, same 1000 point defense. During each player's turn, the same as the other, you can banish it, special summon a level 4 or higher Cosmo monster from your hand. So pretty much any of these are targets for this girl. You can use the effect of Farm Girl once per turn. When this card inflicts damage to your opponent, you can pay 500 life points and add a Cosmo monster from your deck to your hand. Now I like the fact that you can search for pretty much any Cosmo card, but you need to clear out your opponent's side of the field and make sure you have a good clear access to their life points in order to activate it. So I'm hoping that they'll have some kind of monster or spell card that'll help this get along, because if you can keep hitting her with this, you can pretty much have access to your entire deck thanks to her. But 1500 attack, you really won't be getting over much in this archetype unless you're playing honest, because she's a light, and they run into her while you have an honest, boom, do some damage and you get a free search. So there's that. Of course, like all psychics, you have to pay to get the good effects. So now let's look at the field smell. Cosmo Town, a nice little mix between the Emerald City and Mos Eisley, or Coruscant, depending on. I'm saying Coruscant for this one. Well, a lot of people say it's Mos Eisley, but the high buildings give it a Coruscant feel to it. So it's a field spell. Once per turn, you can target one banished Cosmo monster returned to your hand, and if you do, lose life points equal to its original level times 100. Once per turn, you can reveal any number of Cosmo monsters in your head and shuffle them into your deck, and then draw monster cards equal to the number that you shuffled into your deck. This card in your field zone will be destroyed by card effect. You can add a Cosmo card from your deck to your hand. Now, first effect you're going to want to use, because you're going to be banishing a lot. Because it's all about, to get their effects, you have to banish them. So this effectively lets you bring back and recycle the monsters that you lose via banishing. But you lose life points equal to its level times 100. So at the very least, you'll be losing 300 life points. At the very most, 700. So, and since you're already been paying life points because of Good Witch and Farm Girl, be very careful with this one. Just be very careful about what you bring back at what time. It's another effect, lets you just, if you don't like what you have in your hand, you can just reshuffle all the Cosmo monsters in your hand and shuffle them back and draw equal numbers of the cards you shuffled. It's a good way to draw. I wouldn't use it right now because there are only 4 monsters in the archetype. When more come out, this is definitely going to be something that you're going to want, because that's free draw. That's draw power for days. If this card was destroyed by card effect, you can add a Cosmo card from your deck. That means if your opponent pops this, you could just search for another one. So effectively, it acts as both the field spell and a terraforming. It searches for itself when your opponent pops it. So it'll make your opponent think twice about popping it. Once again, like the Kaiju's field spell, Kyoto Seafront, it's vulnerable to bouncing. Although it doesn't lose much in the way of bouncing, because there's no tokens and you can just replay it if you want. So you won't be losing much if they bounce it. But if they destroy it, you can just bring back another one. And there's that. As far as support goes, any kind of support that supports psychics, like Krebens. You can use Krebens. He's a nice little psychic type. When this card is selected as an attack, you can pay 800 life points and negate the attack. It also serves as a tuner. And since you'll be able to special summon these cards pretty easily, synchro summoning with Krebens is pretty much a go-to card to use. And another card that I saw being used for this is Emergency Teleport. It's a quick play spell card, of course a staple of psychic decks. Special summon a level 3 or lower psychic monster from your hand or deck during the end phase of this turn that banish the monster. The only target you'll have is Farm Girl, which is pretty much essential. And don't worry about the secondary effect. It really doesn't matter, because you will be banishing this anyway to summon one of your bigger fuckers on the field. So I'd run one of those too. There are a few more, but I haven't really thought too much about the deck. I might experiment with it just to see what it can do. So expect to see that. You might expect to see that in a couple of days. I don't know, but that's it. So this is the KOZMO archetype. A lot bigger than the Kaijus, but shows just as much potential. So, like I said, this is not an official deck list or any kind. This is just some suggestions and my thoughts on the whole deck. So you really don't have to take this with a grain of salt. If it just gives you ideas, more power to you. So, if you like what you see, link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions, comments? Wanted to talk about the KOZMO deck or even have some strategies and tips? Go ahead and share them in the bottom. I'll get back to you always. If you want to get in contact with me, just hit me up on Twitter. I'll leave a link in the description below. I'll leave my Twitter link in the description below. Or if you want to support the channel, just give it a lightsaber slash to that like button or click one of the advertisements around. They really do help out. Or tip jars up there if you know what to do. So until next time, this is shintigercurl, that dude with the straw hat, saying good morning, and may the force be with you like there's no place like home.